Sweet Prince Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores make their way to the barren wasteland, not actually, but of Austin, Texas, to play the Texas Longhorns. And boy, do they get punched in the mouth. Swing pass to Ryan Wingo gets taken to the house. Vandy misses a tackle, which was a theme all night. They ended up missing 20 tackles. Not night, it was in the morning. And then Pavia gets strip sacked on the next play, or the next drive, and Texas scores again, and they mount a huge lead. Vandy storms all the way back, can't quite recover the onside kick late, and they lose by 3, 31-34. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, that onside kick, I don't think you saw it live. I think you watched the replay.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was so close.
He had it, and then his own teammate knocked it out, which I get it. Like, you're just...
Yeah, everyone's just jumping on the ball,
correct.
trying to grab, and it ends up getting punched out, which is really tough for Vanderbilt. I think my biggest takeaway is, like, really good game by Diego Pavia. Kind of unfortunate that it comes in a loss, and then last week he posted the stat line he had in a win. But it was really, like, great game by both quarterbacks. No interceptions. 700 yards passing between the two of them, almost. I think it's like 365 and 328. So that comes out to like it's close to 700 passing yards. 6 touchdowns, 3 each, and then they both completed over 70% of their passes, and Pavia adds 14 carries for 43 yards and another touchdown. So a really like great game by both quarterbacks.
I'm sorry.
Am I wrong?
Are you going to say Arch had a great game?
Statistically, yes. A lot of that stuff was after the catch, but get it to your weapons.
He had the easiest job on Saturday, including...
Get it to your weapons. That's what they should have been doing this whole time.
He had an easier job than I did.
That was
sitting
my
on
game
the couch
plan
watching.
for Texas going into the game.
It's really crazy how like kind of evenly matched this. It comes down to, in my opinion, Texas goes 5 for 5 in the red zone, and Vanderbilt goes 2 for 3. I believe one of their red zone drives ends up being a missed field goal, which do they complete that field goal? It ends up
Texas
being tied,
missed a field goal too.
Outside of the red zone, though.
Yeah,
so
it was like a 41-yarder. We got to be hitting those.
Yeah. But Vanderbilt is not able to go 100% in the red zone. Texas does. And then Texas scoring on their first 6 possessions was just really tough because Vanderbilt, with the way they play, I jokingly call them like the Georgia Tech of the SEC. With the I just don't really think they're a come from behind high scoring team. They love to use that quarterback run, and quarterback run is not really great when you're trying to put a lot of points really fast and hang with a high scoring offense. It's much better when you're going slow, you've got a lead, you're chewing clock, trying to scramble, gain 5-6 yardage, get the first down. And so letting Texas score in the first 6 drives was not great. Not unexpected, but it was just going to be really hard.
You know what? I mean, this was my race to 20 game, so shout out that.
Was it actually?
Yes.
I do. Yeah,
It was
0 for 3. You obviously can't let Texas score in the first 6 drives. I will say the fact that Vandy got down so much actually helped their offense because all their run game misdirection stuff
not
was
working.
just too slow developing against a team like Texas. They got into the backfield and blew it up way too fast.
I think maybe it was Stats of War, and if it wasn't, I'm sorry to whoever tweeted this, but they said Texas finally figured out the best way to stop this slow developing offense is just hit the quarterback really hard and really early.
Yeah, it just the Vandy offense, Texas's defense was just too good for it. And when they started scoring is when Pavia had to just say screw it and let it air out. Golly, we suck.
That's a tough one.
The Commanders, was that a fumble?
Yes, a fumble on the kick return.
Wow.
For me, I thought the key to the game actually was what I talked about in our Texas preview for the Texas versus Mississippi State game, which was protecting the quarterback. Pavia was sacked 7 times before this Saturday all season.
Yeah.
He was sacked 6 times on Saturday against Texas. That was the story of the game. Was just negative plays, putting Pavia and that offense behind. With the playmakers that defense has, and Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill, they ate them alive once they got behind. Of course, the run game wasn't productive whatsoever. And so like Jack said, it really helped them offensively to have to be forced into a passing script. Of course, though, also Texas, scored on their first 6 drives. On their last 2 drives, they missed a field goal and they had a 3-and-out. So they had an unbelievably productive day offensively, but
took the foot off the gas, and it's kind of that weird thing of like we're up big. How do we operate our offense?
This is 10-34 entering the fourth quarter. They're up 24 points, and this is where the danger of trying to run the clock out can hurt you, which was something we discussed post Mississippi State Texas game. Texas had a really long drive where Wisner had 4 carries. Arch had picked up 2 first downs on third and 5+, and they missed a 51-yard field goal. Post the missed field goal, Eli Stowers for 68 yards. It was not 68, but 68 yards.
Rough.
Vandy goes onside kick. Texas runs the ball 3 straight times. They have 2 false starts as well, and they're forced to punt because they were in the same field goal range again, but they just missed a 51-yarder, so you don't want to kick again, and they're forced to punt. And then soft quarters coverage, they play that after the 4th and 19 conversion by Pavia, which incredible play, by the way. And Vandy just goes right down the field by just snapping the ball, throw it to the guy who's right there wide open. Snap the ball, throw it to the guy who's right there wide open. Pavia is able to create a little bit and finds a touchdown eventually. And then literally an onside kick is the difference in the game. It turns out to be that. And this is where the danger, like I said, comes in trying to run the clock out and going away from what your offense had been doing all day, which had been so productive by getting your playmakers the ball as quickly as you possibly can and letting them cook. Ryan Wingo early. He got hurt early, though. Hurts his hand early in this game. But
Is it fair to say that Texas almost lost the game in a similar way to we lost the game?
Absolutely.
Because for us, our offense is up-tempo. You're snapping the ball with like 20, 25 seconds left on the play clock. And running out the time, running the clock out is just not really an option for that kind of offense. And we tried to do it, and we went 3 and out. Multiple drives in that fourth quarter against Texas. And Texas does the same thing, goes 3 and out, ends up winning by 3. So they were able to finish the game. But it was a very similar scary situation, which is something that's not talked about a lot, is if your offense is not an Army offense where your goal is just to run the clock and chew time, like it's hard to change everything for 10 minutes of game time.
See, the way I think of it, because I completely agree it's hard for the offense to switch, but it's like at that point, the offense has gotten you the lead. So what really triggers me is when the defense suddenly gets really soft and just lets teams start marching back and down the field. Because realistically, you have that 2-score lead or, whatever, it's going to be late. Like, your defense should just be able to say, we'll take it from here. Let's finish the job. And Texas lets Vandy march a couple times. Y'all let Texas march on y'all and give up big plays a couple times. Obviously, realistically, both need to deliver. But, like, a lot of times in those games, it's like, yeah, sure, the offense stalled and ends up running the ball a couple times. But they're really just trying to run clock. They ran some clock. I need the defense to not just get fried on a 4th and 19 or whatever it was, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that aspect of it gets talked about enough. It's always the offense faltered.
That's fair. All this being said, I wouldn't necessarily say Arch had an amazing day. He did what he was asked to do.
Which is an improvement from early in the season.
Correct. In the first quarter, had 144 passing yards. 148 of those were after the catch.
Diabolical.
I don't know how that's even possible.
Is that sacks?
Meaning that he threw passes behind the line of scrimmage that went for a bunch of yards.
I mean, a 75-yard touchdown pass to start the game had probably an air yards of 2, minus 2.
I think it was -2 or -3.
Yeah.
He had 328 yards on the game. 258 were after the catch. Technically, you had running success finally, but partially that was due because the script called for that, especially in the fourth quarter. But you barely had 100 rushing yards, and you weren't sacked the entire game.
Yeah.
Contrarian Wisner had 18 carries for 75 yards, so I wouldn't even call it that they had running game success. So it's
Vandy also just, when I talked about they missed 20 tackles, it wasn't like I was like, man, this Texas O-line is dominating in the run. It was just like, holy crap, Vandy doesn't want to tackle.
All of this being said, I think it just, I hope we don't have massive overreactions over the coming week, 2 weeks really, because they're on a bye, then they'll play Georgia in Sanford Stadium. Between those 2 weeks, like, I hope we don't have the conversation of Texas is back by any means. They honestly, credit to them for winning a game, but this is like, we're not back to Texas being the number one team in the country kind of conversation at all.
We're not.
Sorry, I was just talking about Arch. There's your. This is it right here. This is the line of scrimmage. He completed 9 passes behind the line of scrimmage.
Well done.
So that will help your yards out. He completed 9 passes for 130 yards.
Almost 100.
No more.
Almost 150.
150 plus.
160.
Yeah.
Yeah, 150 plus.
It's 160 exactly.
But hey, he was efficient. He only had 3 incompletions.
You're definitely right. They're not back to like number one preseason, but this is the best version of Texas we've seen all season.
Yeah.
Because even talking about Arch, throwing it behind the line of scrimmage a ton, and making hay there. Early in the season, he was dirting those at the running back's feet on the swing, or the wide receiver's feet on that, or missing the easy slant that's supposed to go for extra yards.
Yeah.
Because Sark is trying to scheme up yards after the catch. And so them being successful there is a big positive. But you are definitely right. It's not like, if this was a Texas we expected to see preseason, the defense would have given up only 10 points in this game and wouldn't have given up all the crap late, and there would have been even more hay from the Texas offense.
Yeah.
But from a Texas fan perspective, it's nice to see the playmakers actually pop for once and do what they're supposed to do, and the team to actually help out Arch.
Yeah. I like that approach for them. Arch
it has to be
struggled.
their approach.
It's what I called for.
Yeah, and it works.
Well.
And so I'm not going to fault Arch Manning for completing passes behind the line of scrimmage. I'm not going to say that's going to get him drafted, but for a college
not the concern
offense,
for him right now.
right. But for a college offense, when you've got a defense like Texas, they gave up 31 to Vanderbilt. I'm going to assume that was a one-off and that they can play up to their talent.
Well, they gave up 30 plus
They
to
gave
State
up 38 to us, so I don't.
Yeah, in the start.
It's not a
full,
one-off.
I just think that like it's silly for Texas to be like, we know Arch has struggled, but we're just going to keep trying to do that same thing because he needs to play that way, instead of just like, we've got 4 and 5 stars everywhere at our skill positions. So like, let's just get them the ball and let them cook, and it's going to win us games. And that's what they should care about more than making Arch Manning look like a future NFL quarterback.
You're 100% right, except for the fact that there's going to come a time when, like when you play Ohio State, oh shoot, those screen plays, the wide receiver's not slipping a tackle and taking it to the house. He's getting tackled at the line of scrimmage, and now it's 3rd and 10, and their only option is to rely on Arch to deliver. Their offense looked good against Vandy, but their offense is undeniably very one-dimensional right now. And if you can take away that dimension of a quick passing game turning into explosives, they're going to find themselves in games that they really struggle in. But you are right, it is their best avenue to at least look to attack that early in games and see if they can exploit it.
Yeah, or even if you just get, because Arch has made big throws, right? He's got the highlight stuff, so if you can get him comfortable, if you can get him getting those short behind the line of scrimmage stuff early, like that is their best bet, and I kind of expect him to keep doing that going forward.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't think it's going to work against Georgia here in 2 weeks.
It shouldn't.
I think we're due for Kirby Smart pulling his defense domination game, which hopefully he doesn't pull it out this weekend, and saves it for the Texas game.
Sure.
And they dominate Texas like they did last year. And that I can also tell you that Schubert ain't going to work against Texas A&M. That's for sure. So congratulations, your check down screen stuff allows you to beat Vanderbilt by 3 points in Mississippi State in overtime, which if you had been told that at the beginning of the season, it would feel like a complete, utter failure.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd say all that to say it should not be all sunshine and rainbows for Longhorns and Longhorn fans, just because Arch has made some improvement by going, 9 for 12 on or 9 for 12.
9 for
12 behind the line of scrimmage for 160 yards. Congrats, dude.
Yeah. The last thing I will say is, like, they have 2 losses at this point. So from a fan perspective, it really is just survive week to week at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that this week. You survived against a top 10 opponent at home. Just move on to the next, and hopefully improvements keep coming. That's really what you got it to to hope for at this point. But it is undeniably a big win, and now Vandy has to essentially win out.
Correct.
Not necessarily, we've heard a lot of talk about 9-3 could get in. I think Vandy would be very hard pressed to be one of the teams to get in at 9-3.
Yeah.
Considering it's humans voting, I think the fact it's Vandy, for one thing, over if Alabama was at 9-3, and we saw Alabama get left out at 9-3 last year, but just like the brand isn't there to help them in any capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they host Auburn, they host Kentucky, and then they have to go to Knoxville and play Tennessee, who's somehow still ranked. Those are their 3 games remaining. Tennessee would be hoping to win that game and be 9-3 as well, and maybe make their debate by getting to beat Vanderbilt. But that is the stretch. Vanderbilt has to win in Knoxville, pretty much guaranteed, to then be in the debate to make it to the playoff. Which then I don't think it's guaranteed, but 2 losses being at Alabama and at Texas coming into the year, I think you would have said that Vanderbilt team probably makes the playoff.
Yeah.
Because of that, considering their resume at that point. And also, as the Seahawks continue to extend their lead,
Holy Schubert, man.
Which is why this team has been on top of the pyramid for a long time. I'm very excited that people now get to see this on national television instead of in the 325 window. But, yeah, Vanderbilt, I think if beating Tennessee will help them a ton in terms of that debate for that last thing. If your last win was a good win against the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville, I think that might help them in their debate there.
Agreed.